guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hakima, and if you're new here, I make 4C hair videos for very dense, very dry, very thick 4C hair, but I also make beauty videos and fun videos. If any of those things sound interesting, you guys should subscribe now because I'll be back with more videos and more fun content. So today's video is for my 4C people. I wanted to go over tips and things that I've learned through my natural hair journey that have helped me prevent breakage. I'm just gonna put pictures and videos just to show you guys what my hair looks like out. So I do have 4C hair. It is low porosity and I would consider it medium length 4C hair. It kind of like comes up to here. So I have actually a lot of hairs on my head, like individual strands, so that means it's very dense. If you do have the same hair type as me, maybe you can help me learn something. So I just wanted to give you guys some tips on having dense 4C hair in particular because it can be extremely overwhelming. But I think with the help of these tips, you can live in your dense 4C hair and wear it out when you want and wear it the way that you want without the fear of just having it break off. So even if your hair goal or your hair journey isn't about growing long natural hair, I still think having healthy hair is important so that the hair stays on your head. So I just want to say that length and growing long hair really isn't my goal. Preventing breakage is really what it comes down to because our hair just gets so dry and it just breaks off, and that is the reason why people cannot retain length. So I think all of these things kind of come together. So my first tip for having dense 4C hair would be to never ever sleep with your hair out. And what I mean by that is never sleep on unstretched, untwisted or braided or banded or whatever it is hair, because your hair is going to scrunch up, it's going to be pressed against your pillow, against your bed, and your hair is going to mat. So when I used to do a lot of twist outs, I would get really lazy and at night I didn't want to twist my hair up again or do the rubber band method or any of those other stretching methods, and I would just go to sleep on my hair. If I did it for one night, it would probably be fine. I could wake up the next morning and kind of like fluff my hair out and, you know, it'd be fine. But then I would do it again. And then on day two, then I would have some matting and some tangles. And if you're someone who wants to wear twist outs and wear your hair in a fro every single day, and you're not really into braids or twists or protective style, then that's totally fine. I just think that having your hair twisted at night, banded, and having it separated into sections is really going to help you prevent breakage and damaging your hair. So basically, matting is when your hair breaks off and then the broken strands kind of gets stuck in your hair. So if you take the time every night to part your hair, twist it, braid it, you're going to lower the chance of matting. By lowering the amount of matting you have, your hair is going to be more manageable, easier to detangle, and you're also going to be able to retain more length. Okay, so my second piece of advice, everyone's heard it before, it is to moisturize your hair every single day. And that doesn't mean you have to do a deep condition and a whole like hour-long thing. I just mean get a liquid, some type of spray, it could just be water. Spray your hair and then seal with an oil, and that is it. But your hair does need a moisturizer every single day. This is just gonna prevent your hair from getting to the point where it does tangle and mat. And this is also going to prevent single strand knots and all those other things. That includes when you have a protective style. So right now with these cornrows, every single day I'm going to take my spray here. This is the Lavish Curls Moisturizer Refresher Daily Leave-In from Curls. So every day I'm just gonna go in with this and spray my hair, and then I'm gonna go in with my oil my scalp, and oil my hair to seal that moisture in. My third piece of advice, which has really helped me retain the length that I'm at now and also just really helped me feel less overwhelmed by my hair, is to have a hair schedule. And I know that can sound really corny and like doing too much, but actually having a hair schedule or a hair plan or whatever you want to call it can actually end up saving you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of damage. And so by a hair schedule, I just mean planning ahead a month, 2 months, 3 months in advance what you're gonna do with your hair and when you're gonna do it. So if you write on Sunday the 22nd, I'm gonna do wash day, I'm gonna do a deep condition, and then I'm gonna cornrow my hair, and then I'm not gonna do anything to my hair for the rest of the month, that is a hair schedule. What this does is basically save you time. It also helps your hair in the long run because you know what you're gonna do with your hair in advance, so there's no wait period. So you know that time when you're in between hairstyles and your hair is just kind of dry and just kind of and you're not really doing anything with it, that's the time when you're probably causing the most breakage because your hair is dry, it's not in a protective style, so it's just kind of on your head. You're probably not moisturizing it every day. You're probably just like, oh well, tomorrow I'm getting box braids, or maybe the next day, oh wait, I don't want box braids, I actually want to wear a wig, and you just keep changing your mind, so then your hair is going to end up just getting drier and drier, waiting for you to decide what you're going to do with your hair. So yeah, having a hair schedule just cuts out that wait period time where you're deciding what you're going to do with your hair. And if you're a very simple person and you just like to do protective styles every single month, then your hair schedule should be pretty easy. I think it's really smart to plan out wash days, when you're gonna cleanse your scalp, when you're gonna deep condition, and plan out styles. So my next tip is to do long-term protective styling. And for dense, thick, 4C hair, this is really important because again, our hair can be super overwhelming, so I think having long-term protective styles means less time that you have to worry about dealing with that. By long-term protective styling, I mean at least a month or longer, a month and a half. That's how long you should have your protective styles in. This has helped me retain length and retain health in my hair. It's zero manipulation for at least a month. Like, it's so important, it's so helpful. Just leave your hair alone, and especially doing protective styles that give you access to your scalp. Cornrows like this, or box braids or other types of braids, because you can oil your scalp every day or every other day very easily. You can spray moisturize your hair very easily. So over time, I have learned that having my hair in protective styles for a week or 2 weeks is just not long enough, and I wouldn't consider that a protective style. It honestly needs to be a month or a month and a half. So my next tip is one that I had to learn the hard way, and that would be to stop trying to follow hair trends or changing your hair every week. There are so many hairstyles out there, especially for natural hair. Our hair is the most diverse, okay? We can do braids, wigs, weaves, all these different things. So if you get caught up in the changing trends and styles, you're probably gonna end up damaging your hair, especially if you have dense 4C hair. A lot of those styles, you have to part your hair for them. Parting 4C hair can actually cause so much breakage, especially if you're not moisturizing your hair properly or not working on wet hair. And the thing about working on wet hair, I'm gonna get to a little bit later. Someone else might be able to manipulate their hair every single day and do a different style, but on our hair, like, that's probably gonna cause breakage, and you're probably gonna be rushing these styles, especially if you feel pressured to kind of like, you know, go follow these trends. 4C hair doesn't function like other natural hair. Like, for me, I know that that has been something that has caused me breakage. So my next tip is something that I've recently kind of got the hang of, which is to apply products to wet hair. So it took me a while to figure out that 4C hair, in order to be moisturized properly, it actually needs to be wet to start with. So the hair needs to be wet, and then you're putting other products and oils on top to seal that moisture in. So water is your actual moisturizer, everything else is just sealing that moisture in. So it's just important to keep this in mind when you're doing wash day, when you're moisturizing, or whenever you touch your hair, honestly, because having the hair wet is the best state your 4C hair can be at. It's the most moisturized, the most protected. Whenever you go in on your hair to do anything, I would suggest wetting your hair. If you're doing a style, if it's wash day, if you're quickly moisturizing. This also applies to when you're parting your hair. So I used to think, oh, I can just part my hair, you know, and then start moisturizing, but actually parting 4C hair while it's dry can cause so much breakage. Products also work better when your 4C hair is wet. So before you apply a leave-in, before you apply a deep conditioner, If your hair is wet, it's gonna take to the product more, it's gonna soak that product in, and your hair is already filled with the moisture of the water. So again, it's really just about sealing that water in. Just make sure that your hair is wet before you moisturize it or add moisturizers or sealants or anything. And also make sure your hair is wet when you're detangling. Having the hair wet during detangling is going to be so much more easy, and the products are actually going to give you slip. So my last piece of advice is something you've definitely already heard before, and that is to deep condition. So again, with dense 4C hair, it can be super overwhelming and it can feel like the hair is unmanageable, but I'm telling you, if you use a deep conditioner for an hour or more and then add heat, your hair is going to soften up. It's going to be moisturized. It's just going to be so much more manageable. So I think doing that at least once a week, whether or not you have a protective style in, is really going to just up the health of your hair. So if I'm wearing box braids or any other type of protective style, I'll still deep condition with the braids in. It's not as good as doing it with your hair out, but it's still getting some type of moisture in your hair. So I would suggest doing it regardless of the state your hair is in. So I really do think these tips can help you, especially if you make them into habits and you always keep them in mind when you're dealing with your hair. So I hope these tips were helpful and made you feel a little less stressed or overwhelmed by your hair. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it helped you in some way, gave you a new tip or a new idea. Please leave a comment with any questions you have or if you have any suggestions for me. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!